All right, so now we're working on the back window. I popped it out, I set it up on a stand. So what we're gonna do is, I got my blue scrubby that came with the install kit. I'm gonna mist the soapy water. I kinda wanna rinse in here and kind of rinse out all the dirt. If during your install there's dirt that sits up here and you hit it with this spray bottle, it's gonna drop in your film job. So part of the problems with these Can-Am machines is they aren't quite airtight, neither is a car, but you wanna make sure that you're cleaning this area, this gasket, because especially where the gravity is gonna pull it down, you don't want dirt to drop into the area that you're working in. So the Can-Ams have a really nice border all the way around the film that makes installing a breeze. So I've wiped out that, kind of want to wipe off this puck. I have recommended in the past to take and actually hand wash these with like soap and water and a car wash mitt so that you can work in here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mist this whole window. I'm gonna take my non-scratch pad and I'm just gonna give this a scrub. This is gonna break apart any dirt that could be sitting on the surface. So I'm gonna scrub all this down. Just give it a good go. You'll use this scrub pad on the back window and the windshield if you do an install on a windshield. It's really handy because it's a large area to clean and you wanna make sure it's really clean. So I'm gonna scrub all this. Now that it's scrubby and foamy like that, I'm actually just gonna take a single edge razor blade and I'm gonna razor all of this. Again, I'm kind of listening for debris. If my razor's hitting a lot of debris, I gotta keep scraping. But if my razor's not hitting that much debris because your machine's pretty clean or pretty new, then I would just razor blade twice. But I would highly recommend razor blading twice just to make sure you got everything. So I am kind of razor blading this downwards, which is gonna eventually pull up the bottom gasket with a little bit of water. I like to dump that water off before I start on my install. So that way, if there is contaminants on there, it doesn't work my way back up into my film area. Again, the enemy of a good tint job is dirt. So you wanna eliminate any dirt. While you're tinting, you're gonna want the doors of your shop closed, any fans off. So there's this big pocket of water down here. I'm gonna razor blade this again. I do like the effect. So like the water is soapy, but it gets really sudsy once you agitate it with the non-scratch pad. So I like to just do that again. It helps me see where I'm razor blading. Also just looks kind of cool. So I'm gonna razor this one more time. So now I've scrubbied and razored twice. Again, we want to make sure that this puck area is clean. So I'm going to teach you how to roll off the back of this. You don't want this back window. My back window is currently set at a flat. It's not ideal, but you definitely don't want it flat, perfectly flat, because the dust from the air will settle into your working space as you go. Dust in the air is going to be your enemy also of a tint job. You don't want all that contaminants and grit in your film. It can poke holes through it and it's just not gonna look good. So again, I've razor bladed all this. I'm gonna actually flip this over now and I'm gonna teach you guys how to peel off of it. So I'm gonna flip this over, it's gonna help me get all that water that's in there. So it's flipped over. I'm gonna wipe all this off. And now this is all wiped off. I'm gonna give this a mist. This is the outside of the glass. And I'm gonna get my film out of the box. And I'm actually gonna set my film on there. So now that my film's on there, I'm gonna use this as my area to peel and lift my liner to apply soapy water. Again, like the quarter windows, we're gonna do this back glass as a dry install. I have found personally in all my years of tinting these Can-Ams that that's the best way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my install tool. Let me grab the install tool out of the cab of the truck. I'm gonna take my install tool, I'm gonna just kind of anchor this down just so when I peel my liner, it doesn't lift. So this is an important part. You want to do this kind of quick. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my liner, leaving the film on the glass, and I'm just going to mist this, wetting simply just the film. And it's just enough water to break. So you don't want this liner to touch anything else but off the film and then back on. I'm gonna give that a mist. I know you guys can't see it on that camera, but I'm gonna do the same on this side. Maybe we'll pan this way a little bit. There we go. So again, I'm gonna mist this. I'm gonna lift my liner and I'm just giving this a mist. I'm not drenching it. I'm just simply applying a little bit of soapy water to the film. The second I get some soapy water applied down, we're just gonna rest it back on the glass. Boom. So now I can shift my liner around. I'm gonna do what's called a reverse roll. So I'm gonna mist my film. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna roll my film towards the center, being really gentle. And I'm gonna shift this so you guys can see. So now I'm just gonna keep rolling, and I'm gonna remember that my 3 notches are at the top side of this film right here. There's 3 notches on the top of the window and only 2 on the bottom. So I'm gonna roll this. And this method is called the reverse roll. So this is a way to keep it clean. So now that I've got this rolled up, you have the liner facing me, and as I roll this and I go to unroll this, the film will flop to the back side, and then it will expose the sticky side. So now this is the sticky side of the tint. So now this is ready to be applied to the glass, and you'll see that in a minute here. So I'm gonna set this in a safe area. I'm gonna get my glass positioned back on the machine. I'm gonna wipe the outside of the glass down so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna set this back up so it's not facing straight up and down again. So now that this glass has been prepped, I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna take my soapy water, and I'm just gonna do a squeegee off using my pink squeegee. So this glass has already been scrubbied, razor blade twice. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna come grab a glass towel, and I'm gonna squeegee this out. So I wanna squeegee all the contaminants down. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's creating kind of a ripple effect where the water is running down, hopefully then thus rinsing the dirt, the debris, the contaminants with it. So again, this in the windshield is a big piece of glass. It's very important that you have still air in your shop. Not that the fans are running or the door is open or the wife's gonna come check on you, see how you're coming, see if she should start dinner or not. You kind of want to eliminate all the airflow while you're doing this. I'm gonna do it again just to ensure that I got all the debris. Okay, so I squeegee that, and I'm going from black border to black border. So I've squeegeed. Again, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's creating like a rinsing effect. Now this is what I mean by a dry install. I'm going to end up doing the reverse roll on this window. So I got that. Now I'm just gonna squeegee off this edge, because all the dirt technically should have been pulled to that edge, and I'm gonna do the same over here. So now this is ready. So I'm gonna grab my film, and my 3 are on the top side. So what I'm gonna do is now my sticky part of my tint's right here. I'm just gonna set this on the glass gently, and I'm just gonna walk it with my hands. So I'm gonna walk it, and as the film, now my liner is here on the back side instead of the front side, thus exposing the sticky side of the film. And now because of that, my film's going straight from hopefully being clean right to the clean glass. And because we didn't wet the glass, we got it to a point of, we didn't create any, like I didn't wet the glass and rinse any dirt out of this puck. So now there's still enough slip solution to kind of shift this around and make it happy, make sure I don't got any light gaps. Apparently this puck was glued a little differently. I'll take a razor blade and trim that. I'm gonna mist this, and I'm just gonna squeegee center out. So squeegee center out, and then I'm just gonna kind of start to work this. And I just kind of want to make sure that I'm doing overlapping passes, that I'm not leaving any soapy water left in the film, or I'm extracting all of that. So there, we'll squeegee all this out. Okay, so on this machine, the puck must be glued. I shifted it. The puck must be glued in a position where it's a little offset that happens from time to time. So I'm just gonna take my razor blade and I'm just gonna hit this right here. It's just basically caught, and that little slice did it. So I just sliced the film around that puck, easy as that. And again, we're just gonna squeegee this out for the second time. Just I missed it, so my blade glides across. I'm just gonna put decent pressure. Wipe off my blade, decent pressure, and I'm just gonna squeegee this whole window out. And that is how you do a reverse roll onto a back window of one of these Can-Ams. That's the cleanest way I found to do it. Some people do what they call the Frankenstein method, and they peel off the whole liner and then stick it to the glass. I don't like that. It exposes a lot of the adhesive for a duration of time that could introduce dirt. So this is the best way I found, the dry method reverse roll. So there's that. We'll wipe that down with a blade. I like to leave this sit outside in the sun for a little bit, or if it's not sunny, I like to let it sit at my shop and just check it over, make sure that there's no bubbles. So we'll finish up the rest of this machine. We'll show the install of the 2 other quarter windows and the other door, and we'll show you a windshield install.